Okay. Hello. How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
Doing good. Ready to get into this married to medicine. What do you think about this episode?
Okay, so it was kind of slow all up until the end, and
Yeah,
when it got to the end, I was like,
I
you know,
know.
like I
Yeah, so
almost wanted to cry, but it didn't come out.
it did pick up. It did pick up. But yeah, so let's get ready to talk that stuff. Married to medicine,
Mhm.
season 10, episode 8. So the ladies are still in Napa, and you know what I thought about? So of course they kicked Quad off of the trip and I guess the show, who knows. But you know what I thought about? I was just like, wow, this trip, I mean, other than that, it's pretty much drama free. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it hasn't been any huge craziness. And I was like, because Toya usually bringing the drama. Like it's usually her bringing the mess. And if she's in charge and she ain't causing no mess, the trip is peaceful. That's what I thought about. I was like, ain't no mess, but she usually the one. If you think about it, for the most part, she kicking up something. She asking a question.
Okay.
She doing something. But anyway,
Okay.
they're Napa and Heavenly hasn't met yet, but her and Dr. Jackie are having breakfast, and they kind of discussed the night before with the whole thing with Quad and um did they make the right decision and um about Quad, her saying basically she got a little frustrated about being used. Like that's where she drew the line about Quad using her. And I don't think we didn't get a chance to talk about this episode, but okay. So for the reality shows, I don't know. It does seem like some of them are actually friends outside of the show. And then some of them are like, I'll see y'all when we record next season. Like, and that's what I thought the dynamic was. And if you friends, you friend. If you're not, you're not. And I don't know if this was their way to get Quad off the show or if they really were seeking genuine friendships amongst the cast. I don't know. But um everybody seemed like they were on the same page. Like nobody was checking for Quad to stay. And so she left and she wasn't on there. But um Heavenly felt like the group has elevated everyone, even Toya. And she's like, do you think we can elevate Sweet Tea? Oh, Sweet Tea. But I don't know. I think this might have been at a different part, but Sweet Tea, she from Arkansas. Well, Texas, but really Arkansas. And she ain't really been nowhere. She was like, you know what? It's good to have friends. They take you places. I was like, they even take her out of the states. And she just happy to be there. Just happy to be there. But she was like, Toya did this. She did. I mean, it was a nice trip. I will say everything seemed nice. But anyway, Heavenly left because
Let me tell you, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I went on a trip.
you said the same thing.
No.
Oh,
Well, kind of. My first time, I'm from Louisiana.
yes. The Louisiana.
Now I've been to I've been to Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you have.
New York,
Mm-hmm.
Massachusetts. I've been to a lot of different. Do you know I've been to like 30 of the states in the
Mm-hmm.
United States.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
I need to count. I don't know. I don't think I've been to 30.
but when I went to California for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
went on a trip with a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I pretty much said the exact same thing that Sweet Tea said.
Is this your Napa trip or this is a different trip? This to Napa?
Napa.
Oh, okay.
Napa. It was my first time. And I also went to San Francisco, and
Mm.
everything was just, for me, it was just beautiful. It was like, ooh, this is where I need to live.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. California is beautiful. Like, I'm trying to think of a place I've been there and it wasn't beautiful. It's just like, yeah, everywhere. And I mean, I hadn't been to well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a place that may not be beautiful, but even Oakland was beautiful. I went to Oakland.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
friend, it was beautiful. So
yeah.
even the quote unquote hood and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't see no hood in the hood. Did you
oh
see?
well,
I mean,
she kind of stayed in the hood, so I saw the hood.
oh,
And
okay, okay.
yeah, but it was still nice. Like it wasn't.
Mhm.
I mean, apparently it was a dangerous part, but it was during the day. Lights. I didn't see no craziness, but it was still, to me, even though we were quote unquote in the hood, like you still see the palm trees, you still see like
Mhm.
the mountains in the background. You know, it's still very nice. But yeah, so I guess I can see what Sweet Tea coming from. But Miss Alara is going to FAMU, so they're going to make sure she's set off right or whatever. And she's talking about, she told her, don't do nothing to take my pride away, because they got pride and, you know, her going to FAMU and everything. And basically, don't get pregnant. And,
yeah.
Like, she did the crap baby. And when she's like, if you come from the hood and you know your man about to graduate and be a doctor, trap that. I was like, oh, heavenly. Oh, my gosh. But
she ain't lying, though. She ain't lying.
They still together. Oh, my gosh. And quite a few probably have trapped theirs, too. So, because I think Sweet Tea, well, she didn't really trap him, but anyway. So the ladies, they kind of split up. They half do a mud spa day and half do the tuk or whatever.
Can I say I would have loved to be with the tuk people? Because
right.
the mud,
And that's what I was thinking. Okay, let's say if the mud smelled nice, it sounded like it stank. So that was a turn off. But even if the mud was like, they had some type of eucalyptus, like whatever, I'm just thinking like, okay, if you're in a spa, I'm already like leery of like whirlpools and stuff like that, because they talk about they never clean them. And then they had a thing, I don't know, my husband sent me something where it was like a guy that was like very overweight and he couldn't shower at home, so he would go to the whirlpools that's what he said, the whirlpools at the gym to clean himself or whatever. And you're thinking like, how often, I mean, I know they got chlorine in it, but how often are they cleaning those spouts and making sure, you know, anyway. So I thought about that, and I was just like, the mud is already dirty, like, and different people getting in and out of it. And I don't know if like they have a special cleaning. Look at that.
I'm stuck on the big man.
Yes.
Like,
I don't know
how often does he go? Like once a week, once a month?
What I don't know.
I'm stuck on that. Like, ooh.
And it made me think now, like every time I'm like, I used to love the whirlpool in the hot tub. Every time I'm thinking about that, if I see anything foaming toward the top, I'm like, oh Lord. So yeah. But yeah, I'm just like, there's no way they're cleaning those tubs, so it's bodies after bodies in and out of it. Like, yeah. And it didn't, I don't know what, I forgot they did say it had some type of benefits, but I'd have been with Phaedra, like, I need to watch for my vagina.
What did you say? They say it tastes good.
We need to ask her cardiologist husband or boyfriend or whoever that we ain't seen yet. You're the only one seem to have spotted him, but you just picked a random dude. Nobody's seen him. But yeah, so they do that. Tuk seems peaceful. They have a coochie board that they're
Sweetie.
I was like, oh my God. Take the girl out of Arkansas. But yeah, I agree. I would have rather done the tuk. That looked like the better of the two. Meanwhile, Dr. Eugene and Curtis, they get together and smoke cigars and kiki, because that's what they was doing for real. About everything. Yes. Now, do you smoke cigars?
One time in my life, and I will never do it again.
Oh,
Can I tell you? No. I was doing it the wrong way. I was.
What you mean the wrong way? Like the wrong end?
No, like, you know how, like, have you ever smoked a cigarette?
Yes.
You know how you, and then you blow it out?
Yeah.
That's what I was doing with my cigar.
What do you do?
You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to like do, like, but you like hold it in your mouth but you don't inhale. Right? So you don't inhale at all. Oh. It's like you're just trying to get the taste in your mouth, and then you blow it out. Well, I was inhaling.
Oh.
30 minutes later, let me tell you what I had on.
Oh, Lord. What you didn't have on sound like, okay, let me see.
that was when my stomach was first, starting to expand.
Oh,
So I had something to hold it in because I was in New Orleans and I
oh,
wanted to look right. When I tell you,
oh my God.
I whipped that shit out so
Oh my God.
in the bathroom, doing all of that. Can I tell you,
Wow.
I was gone for a good 2 hours.
So wait a
Head
minute, it
swimming.
does that. It does that. It has that effect.
If you do it wrong,
Oh, okay, okay. Because I do know, like, I always see, like, most of the guys, like, they'll be smoking cigars or they love the cigar bars, and I didn't get the hype, but I guess if it, and I think some of our friends, I ain't gonna try to call nobody out, but some of my friends um that frequent cigar bars mentioned that there is some type of buzz effect to it, but sound like if you do it wrong, it's elevated buzz effect. Got you stripping in the. But yeah, so they're smoking their cigars and they're discussing Kima. That's Alicia's husband, and him, and kind of like his culture, because I guess he's Nigerian but grew up in Jamaica, and seemed like he has like a male dominating air by itself or about himself. But something about Alicia makes me seem like she don't necessarily like. Okay, remember that scene they showed where she came outside, was like, I'm ready to go. And he was like, well, give us 5 minutes. So basically the men are talking. And she kind of looked and then she went in. To me, that look was like, okay, I ain't gonna embarrass you in front of your friends, but soon as we get in this car. So I think he probably has it, but she checks him. It's not like she willowing in the corner or nothing or whatever. But he probably does have some of those. And I mean, I think it's not just Nigerian and Jamaican. It's probably, general across the board. I'm just saying, like, they're different. It's American men that are like that too. So,
that's interesting.
You don't think American men have?
No. I'm just saying I've never seen it, so I don't know. Well, let me take that back. My uncles, who I love some of my uncles. Like I was like really close to some of my uncles. I do remember, like in the 70s and in the 80s, they would say some off the wall things that my mom would just she would perk up like whatever. And it was clear to me that they had said something that they shouldn't have said, but I don't know. As I grew up, though, I never really saw them do and say some of those things anymore.
Yeah, and I do feel like, I mean, not to bring slavery in it, but they say blame everything on slavery, but it's almost like that's what they say, like a lot of times. So basically, if you saw The Color Purple and whatever, like they were slave, not The Color Purple, but they were slaves, so they got beat on all day. So their one opportunity to man up and be somebody was at home, and how the slave owners proved that they were bigger and stronger, whatever, was about beating them. So they that's how they showed their dominance or whatever. And I feel like our generation and whatever, I don't see it as much, but I have seen it. So I don't think it's just a Nigerian or Jamaican thing, but I do see it more in the African culture. I will say that. But anyway.
And then, you got to, well, I grew up single parent household. My mom, she led the family, and it's a lot of people that I know who, their mothers raised them. And so that's not part of what they see. And so therefore, a lot of the men that I know today, that's just not how they act. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we'll see. I don't know if they're going to bring out more of them or not, but we'll see. Meanwhile, the ladies are back from the spa. They kind of look like they just kind of laying around talking. And Phaedra mentions that she doesn't want to get married again because her her divorce was very, I guess, bad. And she feels like she doesn't have to put a label on things because as a high income earning individual, she is dangerous. And, I guess you can lose stuff depending on where you are. And she said that I feel like she probably did talk bad about their dad. I don't know, but she claimed the boys can read. So they read all about their father. But
I didn't believe that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't believe that. I didn't believe.
I
I
was
mean,
like, they were really young.
yeah, they were. I think maybe they're reading things now. I don't think
Now,
that they were
yes.
reading things back then.
No. And but she claims she wants the boys to know. So I don't know what their relationship like is with them, but because she was like she wants them to know him and form their own opinion. So I'm just like, I mean, he was gone. I mean, he was gone for a while, but they could visit and they could talk to him in prison or whatever. So it's not like unless she was stopping them from doing so.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think she wanted that to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Everything Faye just say, I'll be looking side eye-ish. So, you know,
She is a liar. She's a
she
liar.
is for sure. And yeah, still trying to figure out how she got on this show because she is not. I can't believe you never saw that season. She was like, "You are not married to medicine, honey." When Mariah said that to Quad, but yeah, you said you didn't watch all the seasons. So. But anyway, so the ladies go out to eat. They're getting along, everything, no drama, anything. You know, Toya is being her best self, but they're wearing the color, I guess, of the
wine they prefer.
wine. Yeah. Do you have a favorite wine or
Red.
you like red? I've grown to like red as well. But I think I'll drink red or white. But I think I do, yeah, prefer red now. Then Jackie mentions, talking to the. I think they ask. I don't know if this is when they add. No, this is before. But basically, Jackie mentioned like how talking to the VP about maternal mortality was like such an amazing thing. Now, did you see the drama behind that online? Okay,
No.
so apparently in 2020, her and Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie did, I don't know, it seemed like just one of their little talks online or something. And she said
Who is
basically
she?
like, oh, Dr. Jackie.
Okay.
Um, and they were talking about the mortality stuff or whatever. And she was saying, well, Black women be a little dramatic. So they come in and they complain about every little thing. So, you don't know when it's really something or when it's not, and blah, 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 blah. So that was her take then. They were eating her up online where she had to give two apologies. Because her first apology was like, not necessarily I said what I said, but it was just like, I said what I said. And then the second one, she was like humble and barely in tears. Like, I never meant my patients have let me. Yeah. And then, I mean, people were dragging them and then somebody was like, go look at their reviews. So I went on Google to look at their reviews. They'd be like, oh, well, they complained about customer service, like her staff, both of them staff, Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie, their staff is not professional, that they don't accept, they claim that's a lie, but they don't accept like Medicare or Medicaid. Like you gotta either have good insurance or pay out of pocket. It's hard to get in there, which was obvious, but sometimes it's hard to get in there. You get in there and then they spend like 5 minutes with you or whatever, or they're very short, or they don't seem to have good bedside. I mean, they had like all kind of bad reviews. I was like, oh my gosh. But
so you mean Jackie and Simone?
Both. I went to both of their because when people started dogging out Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone's like, why am I in it? But they end up throwing her under the bus too in the comments. So that's what made me go to Google to check them both out to see what people were saying. And it was very similar comments for them both.
So this happened during the pandemic?
It happened like last week or the week before last online, but the interview resurfaced. The interview was from the pandemic, and it resurfaced where they were just like, okay, now you're talking to the VP about this, but you said this in 2020, Yeah.
Oh, so this is recent.
Yeah, recent where it's come back up, but they did it, years ago. And so, of course, in her apology, that was years ago, and now I understand, or whatever. But yeah, so that was interesting. And I don't know, people find everything. So somehow they found that. If I remember, I'll send it to you.
I wish I had it because I would have showed it.
Oh yes. I gotta do better. I'm gonna do better this year about sending you stuff when I see it. But anyway, so they talk about Sweet Tea and her wanting a baby and surrogacy and And let me see. Toya liked having. Oh, what did you like about the trip? Toya liked having 3 new bodies on the trip, which is
Mhm.
rare. Like usually, I mean, they always haze the new person. So I mean, I was just like, y'all, a mess. But it is good to see Black women getting along because every scene is always dramatic. So it was just kind of palate cleansing to have a nice trip. Nobody has any regrets about sending Quad home. But one thing I noticed, it was a scene with Dr. Jackie and Simone when they were talking about how friendships go and how they, fell out but then got back
Mhm.
together. But anyway, Dr. Jackie had all of these fine lines and wrinkles around her eyes. Yes. And I was just like, why she look older there than she do now? And then I started paying attention. I was like, oh, she definitely had like some fillers and Botox because this part of her face up doesn't move. Toya's didn't either in her confessional. It was like, I mean, it was perfect. They look beautiful. It's well done. But if you notice, like, I don't know how to, like, I can't explain it, but like their lips move and everything like that. But just like all of this here is just all the same. And just like, but yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. But I mean, I know people get Botox and some people overdo it and some people do it. Like, I feel like Phaedra, she's leaning toward almost overdone. She's looking a little almost um masky or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something a little borderline, like, okay, Phaedra. Um, but anyway, that's just a side note I noticed. So,
Michael Jackson bad.
but Michael Jackson looked fine. I'm just anyway. Did you see he had? Do you have Max? I think it's on Max.
HBO Max, the documentary.
Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I started watching it. I got to but it was good. The part I saw.
Mhm.
But anyway, that
Mhm.
was just you mentioned Michael Jackson, so I was like, oh,
Oh, well, I did.
okay, we can talk about that another time. But what was I gonna say? Oh, Toya and Eugene, they do a scene where he's taking her weave out, which is a husbandly duty. Except I don't know. I like okay. I'll be scared like having Anthony like with scissors in my head. I'm like, you can't get tired. You got to stay focused or whatever. But I don't think it should be counted as a date night. But they were spending time together. But I'm like, okay, Eugene, quit being cheap.
I think it had okay. So when he first said it, I was just like, you wrong for
It's
that.
intimate. I will say it's intimate. It's time spent together.
But the conversation that they had was,
Yeah.
like it was nice because sometimes I kind of wondered whether or not she even loves him. I kind of thought like for a long time I thought that it was a marriage of convenience.
Yeah.
Until like this season. This season, I'm like really seeing that they actually well, she actually loves him. I've always thought that he loves her.
Yeah. And I think I honestly feel like it was a marriage of convenience. And not that she trapped him, but she saw this doctor and she didn't want to work. And because he literally, I don't say he would go broke, but they would get in financial straits trying to please her and give her
The life she wanted or felt
yeah.
she needed.
So, and it could just be like your marriage, ebbs and flows, and this is just a good season for them. But they do give a lovingly vibe this season. I'm feeling the love. Let's see, Dr. Heavenly and Laura, they kind of discuss college and all this kind of stuff, and Laura mentions like, okay, I'm going to school. What about rekindling your relationship with your sister? And I forgot about this, but I do remember one of those seasons, Dr. Heavenly mentioned that her mom's last wish was for her and her sister to have a better relationship. And she did mention that they always clash. Now, this is the first time I ever heard her mention that it was kind of her mom that pinned them against each other or made them competitive. And I mean, I could see a parent doing that somewhat, like to make sure everybody does well, just like, oh, okay. But I don't know if it was at a level where it was toxic, because I mean, the fact that kid don't have a relationship now says something about like the level that it was. So it must have been at an unhealthy level. But she decides to call her sister. And I was like, oh my gosh, she gonna answer. She didn't answer, but she left a nice message, and Laura was like, "Why don't you be a grown woman and go over and see her?" Now I don't know if she's in Florida or Atlanta. I don't know. I didn't get a feel for where she was, but she was like, "Do you know how many times she done whooped my my butt? I got scars, so I guess I used to fight all the time." And Laura was saying, I'll come because she ain't gonna whip you in my presence, basically.
So to me, that entire scene,
Mhm.
number one, it was touching. It was nice. That
Mhm.
entire scene, though, it seemed like Alora was the parent,
Yes,
and Heavenly was the child.
yes, she was definitely giving, and sometimes you'll notice like it does happen where you end up giving like your parent becomes the child, at some point. Not like that level where they won't talk to their sister, but you end up giving them advice, or you end up, it's like it can shift. But she definitely did seem like the parent for sure in that scene. Now here's this, well, not sad but somewhat sad part, but Sweet Tea goes to the doctor that Simone recommended for her, and it seemed like she was a fibroid specialist based on the sign outside. And I know she mentioned like on her honey.
By the way, I know. Look, this doctor, she reminds me of what do you call those doctors who specialize in cancer? I forget what
Oh, I'm oncologist.
oncologist.
Yeah.
Horrible bedside manner. Horrible
Yeah.
bed. They're used to seeing people who die. That
Mm-hmm.
woman was kind of like, this is it, this is that, this is this, this is that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
what you got to say about this? And the entire time, can I say something?
Mhm.
It wasn't until Sweet
Oh
Tea
Lord.
asked for the napkin that I realized she was laughing to keep from crying.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Sweet Tea was just laughing the entire
Oh
time.
no, you know how like it's a nervous laugh where you just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, whatever. But so I do know, like, just seeing all different types of doctors, black ones, white ones, or whatever. um I think some are on the line, okay, some like, and because I was like, they can't teach you this in school, because there are some that are very hopeful. Like, let's say they're giving you bad news, but they'll be like, but I know that it's, there's some, people where they get over this, or there's, it may only be, 30%, but I've definitely seen that or whatever. So they give you hope. And then there's other ones that come from the negative side, was like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. Like I've seen both sides. So I don't think it's a medical thing, but I guess if they're so used to giving
Bad news.
tough news to people, um, they may not realize like how it's coming across after so long. You just get used to it, and you just like, next. And they can't. And maybe if they, because I do know, I heard people, it's almost like they don't want that weight on them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, let me just give this news and kind of
Mm-hmm.
step away. So it could be a balance of that. But when I saw it, I didn't even notice it because I've seen all types of bedside manner. So, but that was interesting that you said that. It was kind of like, yeah, you probably have endometriosis, and you will need surgery. And it was just very kind of straight to the point. I didn't think it was
Mm-hmm.
bad bedside manner. It just wasn't. She not the woo woo woo. I'm gonna come and hug you, and we gonna do this or whatever. But yeah, but she did get a tough diagnosis to be 31, fibroids,
and
endometriosis.
and to me, that's the thing. Like, like, especially like a woman is coming to you, they want to have a kid, so
Mm-hmm.
they are hopeful. And it just kind of seems odd to hear somebody just be, just give nothing but the facts.
Yeah,
Nothing but the facts.
yeah.
And that was hard to digest.
Yeah, and it could be that too. I'm just thinking from the other side that she started off giving people hope, and she's seen it not work so many times, and she's seen all the disappointment over the years, that she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to give false hope
Also, mm-hmm.
and get the disappointment later. She just want to give the facts, and then I don't know. I'm just trying to think of.
If a miracle happens, by God, look at it. It's a
Yeah,
miracle.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because they do, and it's. I mean, I know when
Especially if she's being recorded. Like,
yeah,
yeah, she don't want to.
yeah. But I've seen people with fibroids, endometrial, all of that, have babies. So I think it's definitely hope for her. And then she's young, so her eggs are young. So if she's able to freeze and do the surrogacy like they talked about, if she decides to do, like, if she can't carry herself, then I think they'll definitely be able to have a child. And he's a doctor. He's cheap, but I think he'll pay for the surrogate.
I wasn't too happy about his response either.
I actually wrote that I thought he was very supportive.
I think he was supportive of her, but I don't think he was supportive of her chances, if that makes sense.
Oh, I guess I was thinking he was like, you know, basically like, let's just pray and see what, whatever. I mean, I guess I actually thought, I was like, oh my gosh, he was very supportive. Like he wasn't, I didn't know what to expect from him. I definitely didn't expect him to be like, oh my gosh, you came up in my DM saying you would have a baby and now you can't. What's going on? Like, I didn't expect that, but I was thinking like, I didn't think he would be that compassionate. I thought it would be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Do you think he wants kids, or it's just kind of like
I think he definitely wants kids because that was the whole thing with Quad. He wanted children and she didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't. At least at the time she didn't. And that was a big thing between them. And that's why
I didn't realize it.
Yeah, that's why she came into the DM. Sweet Tea came into to let me give you what you want, and with the baby emoji. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So, but I think they'll definitely have a child, and he's 55, 56, or some. I don't know where I got that from.
I didn't know who he was until this season.
Oh, okay. So, but I mean, I think they'll end up having a baby. So we'll see. But he, in the previews for the next episode, he's, to me even more. He was like, if it's not meant for us to have a baby, we won't, it will be okay, that type of thing or whatever. It was kind of like they were out to dinner or something, and he was just trying to, because I mean, I don't know if it would put pressure on her to be like, man, I really wanted a baby, or, maybe he's trying to ease some of the pressure off of her. He don't want her to be stressed about it and stuff like that. So they showed that. They also showed, I don't know what they got Phaedra doing. Because I'm just like, she doing like another ceremony type thing with a gong, and I don't know. They got her doing all kind of mess that she ain't. I'm like, ain't she a bad lawyer? Like, wait a minute. No, just I don't know if she bad, but yes, I don't know why they got her doing all this crazy stuff, but that's what they previewed for the next episode. But
okay,
I'll be watching. We'll see. I didn't see any extra. Oh no, it was some drama. Toya and Eugene, she said something, we need to do more romantic stuff.
Oh yeah.
Doing the same thing, and he was like, what's wrong with that? So we'll see how that progresses. But yeah, this episode was kind of like, I mean, it, like you said, it picked up at the end, but it was just kind of like, okay, all right, yeah. So y'all need to bring Quad back with some action or something.
Yeah. There's something to be said about keeping the people who are dysfunctional on a show like this.
Yeah.
They keep you wanting to watch.
Unfortunately, that's the case. But yeah.
But
I think they showed a preview or something. I don't know if she posted it or something, but she gonna come back this season for something. Because she was just like, it was whatever, because she said she spoke to Greg, like they were at a public thing. She was like, hello, and he shook her hand or something. So she gonna come back for something at some point.
One time or for the rest of the
I don't know. Whatever I saw, it was just like that scene, and she was just like, well, she's back or something like that in the diary room. So yeah, I don't know if it's just that episode or what the case is. So we'll see.
Okay. All right, we shall see.
But yeah, but that's it for Married to Medicine this week.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So we'll see y'all next week. We'll be well, I'll say Al. It wasn't we. I'll be more on schedule this week, but life is so we back 2024.
See y'all.